All right, hello everybody. This is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser. I will be with you in just a moment, and just hang tight. We'll give a few minutes for folks to join in. All right, everybody. Gonna be a few more moments here. We'll give a few minutes for people to join in as I kind of get briefly through a few analyses here. Just finishing up some review here. All right, hello everybody. This is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser. Appreciate you joining us today, whether it be down the road or live. Feel free to chat. Go ahead, and I will certainly let you know my answers if you have any questions. If this is your first time here, be sure to hit the like, share, subscribe button. That way you don't miss a single beat of our live videos. So I do a lot of analyses based on my knowledge of weather and my research. So this graphic that you see right now is my analysis of the day, basically how I feel that it's going to go. Watch probabilities for areas of eastern Kansas and north central Oklahoma. Certainly, tornado risk is moderate risk of having a watch somewhere in eastern Kansas and north central Oklahoma area. Part of the reason for that is because of the fact that we have that enhanced risk, as well as we have a lot of wind shear, and that has the capability of giving that vertical lift that we need in order to initiate some supercells. The severe threats, primary threats, and this is again for eastern Kansas, north central Oklahoma, those are going to be moderate risks and severe threats for tornadoes, damaging winds. The hail is going to be a little less of a threat, not zero, but certainly a little less of a threat. There is some flooding, marginal risk for flooding, and so that's why I put the severe threat for flooding as a slight versus something more in the enhanced area. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at what we have expected for the rest of the day. Let's bring our radar omega before we dive in too deep here. All right, so this is the current analysis that we have right now, based on the Storm Prediction Center that updated this at 7:58 or 7:50 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So we do have a hatched area. This is significant severe weather expected. Areas like Topeka, Kansas City, all the way down into areas close to Tulsa, Oklahoma area. This is for the tornado threat. So we have that significant severe threat for the tornadoes, even a 5% chance over in Kansas City, and a 2% chance of areas into Missouri, central part of Missouri. So this is quite a large swath that we have. What are the other factors? There's the wind risk. They do have a 30% risk for that wind right in that area again that has the highest enhanced risk in the red. One moment here. And then we also do have the wind risk here, 15% all the way down to areas of Dallas, Fort Worth. Now the areas of Dallas and Fort Worth, Texas area, that's going to be a little more dicey as to how much of that severe weather is really going to go there. It has to, there is quite a cap down there, a high pressure and dominating some drier air. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But again, primary focus, eastern Kansas and north central part of Oklahoma. And then here is that hail risk. Let's take a look at that quick. As you can see, not zero, not any enhanced or hatched area, but nonetheless, let me move this out of the way here. All right, that way you can see me. All right, so we do see Wichita, Shawnee, Oklahoma, of course, Oklahoma City, all those areas expecting to have likelihood of the hail. Before I get too far into this, I do want to thank my sponsors. That would be Mission Nutrition, Fit Revolution, as well as Refuel Nutrition. They're all located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and they have an amazing shakes. They've got major protein amounts there, but it doesn't have that gritty, powdery taste. Certainly, I would say it's more like having a blizzard, but without all the sugar and the fat. So certainly check them out if you're in the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area. They also have amazing energy bombs if you're having some issues with needing a little bit of energy and you don't want that coffee drag. You can certainly take one of my favorites, Shark Bite Energy Bomb. Amazing teas there as well. Check out with one of their coaches and they would be able to get you set up with that. We also do have our construction partners. That is Prairie Pro General Contractors. You can check them out and request a quote today, prairieprosd.com. All right, let's go ahead and dive in and see what the analysis shows for the rest of the day based on some of the radars here. Let me shut these off here. So we'll take a look at the GFS first. The primary focus right now is going to be with that severe weather that we're expecting to have today. So I'm just going to kind of show that right now. This is based off of the GFS, and it'll go through a loop here, and we'll show the timing of that. As you can see, storms start initiating sometime in the early afternoon over in Omaha area based off of this. I will show you when we get the HRRR update here in just a little bit. I will show you a little more likely scenario, but I wanted to show you this just for perspective. So as you can see, early afternoon, or late afternoon rather, and early evening, we get those storms initiating. And even quite a bit of moisture expected over in the Des Moines area, areas, Maryville, Missouri. We certainly have some heavier downpours that are expected on the north side of these storms. and then as it pushes off tomorrow into more of the Midwest, we could see storms again tomorrow for those areas. Although I don't believe that they're going to be as significant as today, it'll lose some of its buoyancy, and we'll take a look at that maybe a little bit later. Let's take a look at the HRRR weather model and see what that shows for timing. This was updated at 8 a.m. and this will give us enough of a time frame that we can review that. As you can see, this one is showing that there's likelihood of storms initiating fairly early on. If we zoom in here, we can take a look at those storms along from south of Omaha all the way into areas of like Dodge City, Kansas. Whole line of storms there. And as we get into 3 p.m., that's where we get those torrential downpours. There might be some isolated tornadoes over into the Wichita area as we approach early evening areas, as we get some of these rogue cells right here. These would be areas that I'd be concerned about. These little ones right here that are popping up that are not with the entire line of storms. But as you can see, even areas like Manhattan, Kansas. But then once we go into the later part of the evening, we'll see those form into more of a line of storms, and this is when the wind threat becomes more significant. Topeka area there, we could end up seeing possibly some more tornado activity there. And then this becomes a major windbag if right here, as this will become major winds on this whole entire line right here as it pushes through. And I'll show you that on another analysis here in just a moment. But as you can see, that's around 10 p.m. and we got those storms all the way up into areas of Iowa, even though that's an area of marginal risk. And look at this down in into areas east of Tulsa, eastern part of Oklahoma area around midnight, still wreaking havoc. And we could end up having some long-lived supercells, long-lived tornadoes in some areas like Wichita, even areas of Kansas City. But then eventually this starting to separate as it goes into the early morning hours, and heat starts to dwindle things down. That's a look at that. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at our lower level jet so that we can kind of see what that's expected to do, kind of give you an analysis of that. 500 millibars here. And then we'll get to the snow, because I know some people are wanting to know what's going on with that as well. All right, as you can see, this deepening right here, certainly deepening into kind of giving a ski type jump right there. And it'll get more profound or defined as we go a little bit further. Right there, that's where you can see that lower level jet certainly wreaking havoc right here. All that cool, dry air right there, and then the moist air from the Gulf pushing into the storm on that front, allowing for those storms to initiate in the early evening hours. Even right here, we certainly see that with areas of Iowa, and that's why we got more of that moisture pushing in through there. Let's take a look at total precip. Where is all the precip likely going to be? Well, Areas like Wichita, 3 inches, 3.5 inches, close to it. This is between now and, or between this update and 4 a.m. on the 31st. There's definitely some areas that'll have plenty of moisture. They need it, but just not all at once. Even up in Iowa, could have 1.5 inches, a slow, steady rain there. And then certainly over here we can see where that dry pocket of high pressure is, and then we will have a dry pocket of high pressure develop again right here, and that will be our next. Will dry out a little bit for maybe a day or two in these areas of the plains, and then we'll have another Pacific Northwest system that'll come through. We'll have to show that here in a little bit. But before I go too far, I want to get into the snow. Let's take a look at that. I do like the GFS for that part of it. So let's go ahead and take a quick peek at GFS. All right, so we're gonna kind of hone in on areas of South Dakota. This is total snowfall between 4 a.m. today and 7 a.m. on the 31st, based on this weather model. Do I believe that this is going to be how it plays out? Certainly not. Because that would suggest that areas near Sioux Falls would have 11 inches of snow. And I think this is overdoing it quite a bit. Areas over here, another inch or two. Light dusting. What about showing the precip type? Let's take a look at that. So this does suggest that there's obviously some heavier bands of snow in here around 7 a.m. But again, don't believe that that's going to amount to anything. I truly believe it's going to be mainly some rain, maybe possibly some freezing rain, early morning hours of Halloween. Let's take a quick peek at our temperatures here so that we can kind of see what's expected to happen. So this does show that teeter-tottering over that freezing mark, and so that's why this particular model is suggesting that there could be possibility of some mixed moisture. There we go. But as you can see, we have that colder air and then eventually snap out of it with some warmer air coming through again. And then a front comes through, pushing over into areas of Rapid City. On the 4th, we again end up with the push of that cold front. Does not want us to stay warm much longer. We're going a long ways out here, folks, so just be aware that just doing that to show a trend. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to show you, let's take a quick peek at that moisture so that you can kind of see those storms, why these are really firing up. You've heard us say it time and time again, dry air and warm, moist air do not mix very well unless you want a tornado. There are other factors, but certainly there. All right, so this is the reason that we believe things are really going to fire up in the mid to late afternoon. We got 14-degree dew points, and we got 65-degree dew points, so plenty of moisture to work with there. 64 here, 34 there. That's quite a big contrast, and you'll be able to see it gets a tighter gradient right there around 10 p.m. in the Oklahoma area. That's why eastern part of Oklahoma could see those storms develop much later in the day and into the evening because of those dew points. But it all depends on some other factors. There could be warm air aloft that causes it to kind of cave, if you will. Right, so 66 degree dew points and 17 degree dew points, certainly a interesting mix there. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the IR. Want to show you a live look at infrared satellite loop over the United States here. You can see things are starting to try to develop a line here with Nebraska. Really not much of anything, but just wanted to kind of show you that for perspectives purposes. What's causing all of this, people? Well, let's take a quick peek. Things are really trying to change around. As you can see in this area here where that blue line is, the Pacific, Eastern Pacific is really starting to show its La Nina pattern, as we have the cooler air here, and that, you know, cooler air here and warmer air into the Atlantic. That's what you need for a La Nina effect, and that's what we're entering, is a weak La Nina pattern as we get into November, December, and January. Next thing that I wanted to take a look at is, this is an overall analysis. This was updated at 4:37 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So it's showing, this would suggest that we're going to have some mixed precipitation today in areas of South Dakota, primarily South Dakota, and then there is the severe thunderstorms that's possible in areas of eastern Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, even parts of south part of Iowa. And then that is for today, whereas this is for tomorrow. As you can see, that cold front with the triangles and the line there connected to the low pressure there. That is where we're expecting rain and thunderstorms. Nothing severe at all tomorrow, but it will be a pretty rainy day on the Midwest. They definitely need some moisture there as well. And then here's the tropics. I wanted to kind of touch base as well with that. As you can see, some areas of development are expected between the 6th and the 12th, and that would be over the Yucatan area, Cuba, Puerto Rico areas. They're certainly expecting that. That's with the greater than 20% tropical cyclone formation probability. Even November 13th through the 19th, again, still greater than 20%. And then let's take a look again at that 24-hour day one QPF. This is quantitative precipitation. So this would suggest that areas of Des Moines could really benefit from a lot of moisture. Unfortunately, there could be some flash flooding there. And so that's a real concern over the next 24 hours. As you can see, some areas could end up seeing in excess of 3 inches of rain in that areas of Iowa, central portion of Iowa. And then here's that excessive rainfall outlook. As you can see, it outlines the entire area of Tornado Alley, majority of Tornado Alley, eastern Kansas, as well as eastern Oklahoma, eastern Texas, all the way up into much of Iowa and even Wisconsin. So here's another thing that I wanted to kind of show you, if I can get back to that. Let's go ahead and show the formation with this GFS. Going back to, this shows where that's Minnesota is getting a possibility of some snow, but again, really not. I'm not trusting the GFS on this one. Giving you a radar loop estimate right here on a different view. There's another area of low pressure that develops, and then Sandhills of Nebraska, we do have possibility of some more snow that's going to be wreaking havoc with that second system that comes through next week. Next week, Tuesday, possibly. But what I wanted to kind of show you is, if you look in the lower half area of, like over by Florida, there is our little low pressure. Now that's the 13th. That's 2 weeks out. So those that are saying, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna have another system. Here's another system that comes," I don't believe so. I believe that thankfully we are done with hurricane. It's not, hurricane season is still through November, yes, but I don't believe we're going to have any more. We don't need any more, and I just wanted to kind of show you that yes, there's one model that is suggesting that there could possibly be another hurricane, but that is 2 weeks out, and GFS model, there's no hurricane models that are available to support this development at this point in time. So just wanted to make sure that y'all were aware of that. Just kind of going through in my head to see if I have anything else that I needed to touch base on. Yes, I do. Let's show the radar Omega one more time here. Bring this up here. So 40% chance over the next 7 days of the Caribbean Sea, Jamaica area having possibility of tropical development. That's 40% over the next week. Again, I don't believe that there's really going to be anything that amounts to that. There's definitely plenty of moisture. If we kind of show you that, 76 degrees, 75, plenty of warm air for it to get going. But again, I don't believe it's going to amount to anything. Let's go ahead and put on the precipitation type. I want to go over to the NAM3. I apologize, NAM12K. That was updated at 8 a.m. here. And this will give you a better idea of the precipitation type. Going back to our snow, I do want to see, this is the first time I'm looking at this, so I want to see if it truly is possible that we're going to see some mixed precip in the Sioux Falls area. So that puts us over to 2 a.m. and this does not support that. Let's take a look at freezing rain QPF. A little blip here in northeastern portion of Colorado, but nothing there. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at NAM3K. That one is not updated too far out. As you can see, definitely western part of South Dakota getting some of that snow. And here is those storms early afternoon. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at live radar for the United States here and show you where things are going. There are some storms that are trying to initiate early on in Kansas area. some rogue cells really trying to get going, but I don't believe anything's going to really be able to initiate until early afternoon. We'll have to see how that goes. Let's take a look at the satellite imagery. There's a long wave IR. I got to get it on the right section here. Alright, so that's a long IR. Let's get that cleaned up a little bit. So then you'll be able to see a little bit of development that would be concerning northeast of Dodge City along I-70. If we take a look at Echo Tops, let's go back to live radar. Oh yeah, there are some certain supercells starting to initiate there. Let's take a look at the Echo Tops and see if those are... See, that's a nice thing, is it's very nice to have multiple methods of being able to analyze data. So we have 39,000 feet. So these two cells here, this one right here would be the long 281 north of Great Bend. And over here, those areas, so just south of I-70 would be some areas of concern, because this cell right here, if I focus in on that, this cell right here is all on its own, and so that could end up initiating something right there as it pushes off into an east-northeast direction. That front is certainly over here. Let's take a look at that front. We have the 38-degree dew points over in Goodland. And then what do we have over here? 62-degree dew points right here. So that's where that front. Let's turn on the analysis. There it is. You can see it now. There's that front. The mixing is going on, hence the warm sector here. And we do have that area of low pressure going to be pushing through for the rest of today. Alright, that's the latest analysis. I did not see that I had any questions, but I appreciate you all joining. God bless and stay safe. Again, if you have not checked out one of our great sponsors, Mission Nutrition, Fit Revolution, or Refuel Nutrition, they're all located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Be sure to check them out. Check with one of the great coaches today and get right on track. Make sure that this winter or this fall you don't fall back into bad habits and you stay healthy and fit. They can certainly help you with that, with giving you the right type of nutrition that your body needs, the fuel to help you burn those calories, along with some great exercise.